Hello and welcome to Raus IAS. This is the Daily News Simplified for the date 9th of September 2024. And for our today's discussion, we have picked up these following 5 articles. The articles for our main discussion are Tropical Cyclones in the Indian Ocean. Second article is Artificial Intelligence in Defense. Third article is Digital Physical Infrastructure. And the articles which we have taken for Prelims discussion are Monoclonal Antibodies and Presbyopia. So let's begin our today's discussion. So the first news article for today's discussion is inspired by this news article which appeared on the page number 8 of the Hindu. Now this news article says that there have been development of very uncommon cyclones in the Arabian Sea. Basically, if we see in the Indian Ocean region, the occurrence of cyclones, the frequency of occurrence of cyclones is more in Bay of Bengal, and the occurrence and the frequency is less in the Arabian Sea. But in the recent times, we have seen that the frequency of occurrence of cyclones in Arabian Sea has increased. So in this news article, we will see quickly a few facts regarding tropical cyclones, and then we will see that what is the difference, that what is the reason for traditionally occurrence of tropical cyclones in Bay of Bengal is more than that in Arabian Sea. And then we will discuss that what are the impact of climate change on this pattern of cyclone formation. Okay? So this is what we will discuss in this particular article. Now let's see the importance of this particular article. So this is important for our GS paper 1 geography under the syllabus head important geophysical phenomena such as earthquake, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone. And if we see the importance of this particular theme, we found various questions in mains paper from this particular theme. One was such question was seen in the year 2022, other questions in 2014, 2013, right? So let's start with our today's discussion, cyclone formation in the Indian Ocean region. Okay. So the cyclones which occur in the Indian Ocean region are tropical cyclones. Okay. So what are tropical cyclones? Tropical cyclones are low pressure weather system or low pressure cyclonic storms which occur between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Okay. So if we see in this image, quickly we can see that this particular region is a low pressure center in a cyclone, and this is known as the eye of a cyclone. So this eye of the cyclone is generally the most calmest region of a cyclone, and it extends from 20 kilometer to the distance of 40 kilometer. Okay, and surrounding this eye, we've seen that there is a vertical column of air, or there is a circulating air mass around this eye. So here we can see this circulating air mass. So together, this system of the circulating air masses which is rotating, right, and this forms cyclone. And these cyclonic storms, they are characterized by the presence of strong winds, heavy rainfall, thunderstorms, and obviously a low pressure center, increased sea level, and storm surges. These are characteristics of cyclones. And then let's see that what are the necessary conditions for the formation of any tropical cyclones. What are these conditions? The first condition is the presence of high moisture content. Obviously, cyclones form in large water bodies, right? So large water bodies, they have high moisture content, right? So this is the fuel. This moisture is the fuel for the cyclone formation. The second important condition is high sea surface temperature. So whenever the sea surface temperature, it rises more than 26.5 degree centigrade, then we see that the sea surface temperature is warm enough or ideal enough for the formation of cyclones. And the third condition is there should be a pre-existing low pressure center. Now why do we need this? See, in this pre-existing low pressure center, it acts as a seed for the formation of cyclone, because we all know that air travels from high pressure towards low pressure, right? So there should be an initial pre-existing low pressure center such that there are converging winds such that the winds, they converge towards this low pressure center, right? And when the temperature conditions are optimum, then what will happen? That the winds which are converging here, they will rise up, right? Because here, due to the warm ocean temperature, the water will be heated here, right? And this moisture, this heated moisture along with winds, it will rise up to a particular extent. Usually at the height of 10 kilometer to 12 kilometer, this rising air mass, this rising moisture content containing air mass, it cools or condenses, and then the formation of clouds occur. And when this air mass, which is rising up, when it is condensing, it is releasing the latent heat. It is releasing latent heat, right? And this latent heat is further heating the moisture containing winds in the system. So in this way, the system is self-sustaining, right? And apart from this, we have seen that till these four conditions, we have seen that these all conditions create this cyclone-like system, this vertical column of air mass. But then this vertical column of air mass, it should move also, right? And this motion is provided to it by Coriolis force. We all know that Earth rotates from west to east, and because of rotation of Earth, there is a Coriolis force, and this Coriolis force, it acts on it is necessary condition for formation of cyclones. So any body or any wind, say if it is moving in the northern hemisphere, then because of Coriolis force, this wind will be deflected towards right. And this particular wind, if it is in southern hemisphere, the wind will be deflected towards left. So as a result, the tropical cyclones which are formed in northern hemisphere, they rotate in anti-clockwise direction, whereas the tropical cyclones which are formed in southern hemisphere, they rotate in clockwise direction, right? And apart from this, one more necessary condition is the presence of low wind shear. Okay, so here in this picture we can see that this is a column of air which is rotating, but don't you think for this column of wind to sustain itself, to not disorganize itself or to sustain itself, the relative speed of air mass, the layers of air should be constant. That is, the speed of air mass which is at the bottommost layer should be equivalent to that of this air mass at the topmost layer, right? So this wind should flow in laminar flow, right? And when there is a low wind shear, then only this wind will be able to flow in laminar flow, right? So this is also necessary condition that there should be there should be low wind shear. And whenever there is a high wind shear, then what happens? That the system of cyclone, it disorganizes itself. Okay, it disturbs this particular arrangement. And then we all know what happens, that because of trade winds, because of the presence of trade winds, these cyclonic systems, they move from west coast towards east coast. And say this is the map of India, right? And these cyclones, they are moving from west coast towards east coast. And when these cyclonic systems, they will hit the coastal area, then landfall occurs. Landfall is that is rainfall will occur, right? And usual all these characteristics which we mentioned here, heavy rainfall, strong winds, these will occur here. Okay. Now this is what is particularly, these are some facts regarding tropical cyclones. Now let's see this dimension, that why traditionally West Indian Ocean experienced less number of tropical cyclones. As initially we saw that, see, there is the frequency of cyclones in Bay of Bengal traditionally has been higher as compared to the frequency of cyclones in the Arabian Sea. Now, traditionally, the ratio was that for one cyclone which was generated or formed in Arabian Sea, 4 cyclones they used to form in Bay of Bengal. But now, due to climate change and various other factors also, this ratio has changed. Now, presently, the ratio is that for every 4 cyclones which are formed in Arabian Sea, 5 cyclones they form in Bay of Bengal. Okay. So now let's answer this question, that why traditionally more cyclones they used to form in Bay of Bengal. So the first reason is that there is a temperature difference. There is a temperature difference or surface water temperature difference between Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. And this Bay of Bengal, it is warmer than Arabian Sea. Now, what are the reasons for it? Why Bay of Bengal is warmer? First reason is that Bay of Bengal is relatively shallow as compared to Arabian Sea. The depth of Bay of Bengal is less as compared to Arabian Sea, and we all know that if the sea is shallow, then it will be heated up quickly, right? So comparatively, this Bay of Bengal is shallower and hence more warmer as compared to Arabian Sea. And in this Bay of Bengal, we see that there is an influx of fresh water also. We see that various river systems from northern India, say Ganges River, Brahmaputra River, they all flow into Bay of Bengal, right? But these river systems, they carry fresh water, and because there is a difference in the density of water in these fresh water and the density of water in ocean. So these rivers, the river water, the fresh water from the river, it does not mixes with the ocean water. And had the river water had been mixed, then the temperature would have been distributed, right? But since because of difference in density, the water does not mix, and so there is a heat retention near the surface, and this also contributes to the warmer sea temperatures in Bay of Bengal. Okay, this is the first reason, temperature difference between Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. And we all know that warmer the water body, there are more chances for cyclonic occurrence or formation. Okay. Second thing is early trough formation in Bay of Bengal. And now we have seen that for the formation of cyclones, we need low pressure systems, right? And there is a early low pressure trough formation in Bay of Bengal. Now, this can also be verified from the fact that if we see uh, the direction of southwest monsoon, then we see that the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they witnessed first rainfall from southwest monsoon. Usually, the rainfall in Andaman and Nicobar from the southwest monsoon, it occurs in mid-May. And if we see in mainland India, in Kerala, monsoon arrives near 1 June, right? So we can see that there is an early low pressure formation in Bay of Bengal, right? And this also aids to why more cyclones they used to occur in Bay of Bengal as compared to Arabian Sea. And then further, there is a high humidity and atmospheric moisture which is present in Bay of Bengal. Now we all know that high moisture content is also one of the precondition for formation of cyclones. And in Bay of Bengal, we can see there is an influx of various freshwater rivers like from Ganga, from Brahmaputra. So the presence of moisture in the atmosphere is very high as compared to that in Arabian Sea. Now we all know that the regions surrounding Arabian Sea, they are arid, right? If we see the location of Arabian Sea here, it is surrounded by, say, North African, Northeast Africa. This is surrounded by this Arabian Peninsula, right? It is surrounded by Gulf of Kutch, and to its east by Western Ghats, right? So particularly if you see this particular region, this is arid, right? So the moisture in the atmosphere or air, it is lacking in Arabian Sea as compared to that in Bay of Bengal, right? So this high moisture availability in Bay of Bengal is also one of the necessary condition which fuels the cyclonic storm formation, right? And the third and the fourth condition is that there is a higher wind shear in Arabian Sea. Okay, so as we all know that for the formation of cyclone, we need low wind shear, but there is a higher wind shear in Arabian Sea as compared to Bay of Bengal. So because of this higher wind shear in Arabian Sea, it disturbs the cyclonic systems. When they are forming, these cyclonic systems are disturbed by this high wind shear, right? And the last reason is that, see, this Bay of Bengal is also warmer because of the fact that there is a influx of warmer water in Bay of Bengal from Pacific Ocean. See, in this map, we can see there are various states, particularly Strait of Malacca in Malay Peninsula. We can see it here in this image. So the Strait of Malacca, it connects Bay of Bengal to Pacific Ocean. So the warmer water from Pacific Ocean is getting mixed in Bay of Bengal, but we don't see such warmer water from Pacific Ocean being mixed in Arabian Sea. This is not the occurrence. That's why Bay of Bengal is more warmer as compared to Arabian Sea. Okay, now this has been traditionally the reasons why there were more cyclones which used to occur in Bay of Bengal, but now the ratio has been changed as already discussed. Now the ratio is 4:5. Okay. Now let's see that this article, it mentions some facts that how climate change is impacting tropical cyclones. Okay, now let's see this. As we all know, that climate change, especially in the last 50 years, it has impacted terrestrial as well as marine ecosystems also. Okay, as per a report by the Council of Energy, Environment of Water, in the last 50 years, there has been 12-fold surge in the number of associated cyclonic events. That is, the cyclonic events, they have increased in frequency as well as intensity because of climate change, right? And this has been seen in the form of extreme rainfall, extreme flooding, sea level rise, and thunderstorms, right? And destruction. So so let's see that what is the impact of climate change on tropical cyclones. Now, first thing is that increased sea surface temperature. Now, because of climate change, the sea surface temperature has increased. Now, all the greenhouse gases which are being emitted, they can be absorbed by either they can be absorbed by soil, okay, either they can be absorbed by plants or trees, or finally, this greenhouse gases, particularly carbon, this can be absorbed by oceans. So, ocean is one of the largest carbon sink. And we have seen that in the past 50 years, global ocean has absorbed 90% of the excess heat generated due to man-made climate change. Now, this is one of the reasons why the sea surface temperature has been increasing, and because of climate change, more heat is coming from the Pacific Ocean. So, as we already discussed, that water is being mixed from Pacific Oceans in Bay of Bengal. So, more heat, because due to the impact of climate change, more heat is coming from Pacific Ocean. And now, because of climate change, not only oceans, but rather the coastal lands, they are also being heated, right? And because of this coastal heating, this is intensifying the warming of adjacent ocean waters. So the ocean waters which are adjacent to the sea coast or ocean or the coastal areas, they are becoming more warmer and warmer. And we all know that and due to it, low pressure system is being generated, or more moisture is being pulled up by this local heating effect in coastal land, right? And this also resulted increased, moisture content or heavy rainfall situations. And then changing weather events. We have seen that due to climate change, the weather events like El Nino, they have become more frequent. And because of increase in the intensity of El Nino, this is reducing the ocean upwelling. And when ocean upwelling, it reduces, then ocean mixing, the water mixing in ocean, it also reduces, right? And this also contributes to increasing sea surface temperature. And because of climate change, there have been rising incidents of marine heat waves. And this is also leading to the prolonged warm period over oceans, and then creating necessary conditions for sustenance or occurrence of tropical cyclones. And then we have seen that in recent times, there have been extreme rainfall in cyclones. What is the reason? The reason is increased precipitation rate. How? See, because of anthropogenic global warming, what happens that this has increased the amount of moisture that the atmosphere can hold. We all know that warm air, it has more capacity to hold moisture as compared to cooler air, right? So because of global warming, the air is becoming warm, right? And this warm air has more capacity to hold moisture. As a result, there has been increased amount of moisture the atmosphere can hold. As a result, there is an increased precipitation rate. Okay, and then further there have been changes in global wind patterns, and because there have been cases when these intense winds, they are driving the low pressure regions to other areas. For example, in 2021, a cyclone, Gulab cyclones, it formed initially. This Gulab cyclone, it formed in Bay of Bengal, but due to these intense wind, the trajectory of this cyclone changed, and this cyclone, it was shifted to the Arabian Sea from Bay of Bengal, right? So these are certain impacts of climate change on tropical cyclones, right? Now this is all about this article. Now let's move on to our next article, which appeared on the page number 12 of Indian Express. Now this article is about use of AI in warfare. Now the context of this news article is that recently, today only, a summit on responsible use of artificial intelligence in the military domain. This particular summit is being organized in Seoul, South Korea, and various stakeholders from approximately 90 countries are attending this particular summit, which is to promote or to frame some guidelines for responsible use of artificial intelligence in military domain. As of now, there are no international guidelines for regulating the use of artificial intelligence in military domain. Now, this has been a concern for various countries, and for it, and in order to frame such guidelines, this summit is being organized in Seoul starting from today. So, the author says that India should also be party to this summit, and India cannot afford to be a bystander. That is, India should also be involved in the formation of these global protocols for the to promote the responsible use of AI, as as this increased use of AI in defense sector will also ultimately impact India also, right? Now, this news article is important for our GS Paper 3 Science and Technology. Under the syllabus head, awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotech, among others, right? So, it is regarding new emerging technology, especially in the field of IT, right? So, artificial intelligence, if you see this topic, last year only, in the year 2023, we found this particular question that introduced the concept of AI and what are the applications of AI in health sector particularly, right? So in future we can expect such a question that what can be the use of AI in different sector, okay? And if you want to see this news article in this particular video, here I've covered that what is AI, some facts regarding AI, what is machine learning, okay? And these all facts and what are the applications of AI. You can refer to this video dated 16 December 2023. And so here today we are not discussing what is AI, but rather I can give you an introduction. What is AI? AI is the use of computer systems or computer algorithms or softwares which can which mimic human intelligence. Okay, so AI is the use of computer systems or algorithm that mimic human intelligence. That is, they can be used for decision making, they can be used to problem solving and other functions, right? So they are systems using by the use of machine learning and natural language processing. They can interact with humans and they can think like humans, right? To some extent. Right? Now, because of their and AI is a dual use technology. AI has various applications in certain civilian domains also, and which is covered in this particular video. And these domains can be the use of AI in healthcare sector, in education sector, in logistics, in economics, right? And economy, in sustaining economy, and various other sectors also. And now in today's video, we are seeing that what is the potential use of AI in defense. The first thing is that AI can be used as force multiplier in defense system. How can it be used as force multiplier? First of all, it can be used in defense operations. That is in order to prevent casualties. So AI based systems could be used by armed forces in order to supplement their manpower, right? For example, there could be autonomous systems for anti-IED operations, improved explosive devices. So when the army has to undertake IED operations, they could use autonomous systems or robots, AI-enabled robots. This could prevent casualties. Okay, and then other example could be deployment of AI-enabled robot sentries. Okay, so that is the use of robot force. They can be particularly used in warlike situations, right, or for guarding borders, among others. Apart from using in different situations, AI could be used in creating offense. For example, the best example is AI-powered killer robots or lethal autonomous weapon systems. Killer robots or lethal autonomous weapon systems. Or other example is armed UAVs. unarmed aerial vehicles or drones. So these drones, they could be used as tactical weapons. That is, they can be embedded with low power mutination, right? And it could be used to do tactical attack. And then there could be AI embedded missiles. These AI embedded missiles, they can autonomously, they can target, they can determine the target range, and it can adjust the flight patterns based on a real-time data. That is, these missiles, they can be operated without the intervention of or with minimum intervention of humans, right? So these can be used to generate offense. And then third thing is that AI could be used in for surveillance. There could be AI embedded radars. There could be AI embedded drones, which could be deployed in remote locations or say near borders. And this could be used to give us enhanced geospatial analysis, or they could be used for detection of illegal or suspicious activities, or for alerting authorities near border situation, near border areas, LAC or LOC. Okay. So this is used for surveillance, improved surveillance, and it could be also used for pattern detection. That is, by the use of AI-enabled systems, this will reduce the reaction time of armed forces, and it could aid human decision making in time-sensitive situations. That is, it could act as a force multiplier again. And then AI could also be used in cybersecurity. So in the case of cybersecurity, first of all, AI could be embedded in cybersecurity systems, and which would be able, and these systems would be able to detect potential malwares or threats more early as compared to other systems, right? And then further, these AI enabled cybersecurity systems, they could also be used to launch offensive or for cyber hacking in attacks, right? So these are certain, this is the potential use of AI in defense as of now. But having said this, there are certain challenges with the use of AI in the defense systems. Now, first of all, what is this challenge? First challenge is to fix accountability. Now, we all know that AI-based systems, they are prone to biases. They are prone to errors, right? So, when, if by the use of, say, lethal autonomous weapon system, there happens any casualty or or any uh, or any loss for civilian infrastructure, right? Then who is going to be held accountable in this case? So this question of fixing accountability is a major challenge in deploying AI-based system. The second thing is ethical concern. The ethical concern is that can machines be used, or can, what is the morality? The question is regarding morality of using machines in killing humans, right? And third question is regarding the risk that by promoting, or if this AI is not regulated, this would result in arms race. As major countries around the world and small players also, they would involve in developing such AI-based systems, which would further escalate conflicts. Okay, and further, it could have security risk also. Same AI system which can aid us to get surveillance data, are they are vulnerable to cyber attacks, right? And in turn, our cybersecurity system, they could be used to spy us only, or for espionage if there is a cyber attack in these systems. Okay, so they are not foolproof, right? So in order to address all these challenges, there is presently a summit on responsible use of artificial intelligence in the military domain, which is being conducted in Seoul, North Korea. There are threefold objectives of this summit. The first objective is to understand the implications of military AI on global peace and security. That what would be the implication if there is a rise of military AI on global peace and security? Definitely, it is going to be disturbed. And then to implement new norms on using AI systems in military affairs. That is developing certain kinds of regulation, and then to develop ideas on long-term global governance of AI in military domain. That is governance and responsible use of AI. Okay, so let's see how it proceeds. And the next article for today is inspired by this news article, which appeared on the page number 11 of Indian Express. Now, this news article says 5 sutras for digital infrastructure. So in this news article, the author says that India has become global leader in digital public infrastructure. And if we see our progress of India in creating digital public infrastructure, first of all, we can see from starting from the year 2009 when the UPI, oh sorry, when Aadhaar based digital identification system was launched in India. This Aadhaar based digital identification system, it was launched in India in the year 2009, and then Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. This was launched in India in the year 2014, and then UPI system. This was launched in India in the year 2016. Now, fast forward, the author says that from the year 2014 to the year 2020, in this duration of 6 years, India achieved its goal of financial inclusion. That is, around 80% of population of India uh, became the goal of financial inclusion was completed for 80% of Indian population, right? So this was because of the deployment of all of this Aadhaar based digital identification system as well as this Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, okay, and by integration of UPI systems. Okay, so this is what is digital public infrastructure. So in this article we will see that we will see certain details of digital public infrastructure. What is it? What are the key pillars of it? And what is the significance of digital public infrastructure? And then in this news article, the author says that, see, this digital public infrastructure, this is referred to as India Stack. Now, the author says that India is progressing in developing India Stack or digital public infrastructure. Now we can see that various digital platforms are being developed under it, but now we need to regulate these digital public infrastructure. And for regulating this digital public infrastructure, we need to move from India Stack to Citizen Stack. That is, we need certain kind of regulations in DPI or to enable good DPI, right? So let's discuss this news article. This is important for our GS paper 2 under the syllabus at polity and governance, especially under the syllabus at important aspects of governance, transparency and e-accountability, e-governance applications and models, right? And from this particular theme, we have seen questions in this GS paper 2. You can read these questions. Now let's start our discussion that what is digital public infrastructure. So digital public infrastructure is any kind of foundational digital platform. It is any kind of digital platform or digital technology which can be used by government essentially or primarily to deliver the essential services to their citizens. Okay. So these digital public infrastructure, this is used for citizen-centric governance. Okay. Now, what are the key pillars of digital public infrastructure as it is going to be used for citizen-centric governance? What are the key pillars for it? The first key pillar is the key pillars here in India are digital identification, and this was possible via the launch of Aadhaar. Aadhaar, which was launched in the year 2009. So what is Aadhaar? Aadhaar is a unique biometric based digital identity card for Indian citizens. Okay, so this Aadhaar, it gives digital identity to Indian citizens. In this payment infrastructure, and payment infrastructure, it was possible by the integration of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana and by opening bank accounts as well as integration with Unified Payment Interface UPI system. And what is UPI system? It is a real-time payment settlement system, real-time payment system, right? And this is in order to promote financial inclusion. And then next key pillar is data exchange solution. That is data which is being exchanged in this process. This data should be secure, okay? And this data should be used to enable governance. But when the governance is provided, the data privacy should also be maintained. That is, there should be balance between enabling data privacy as well as providing citizen-centric governance. Okay, so for it, digital empowerment and protection architecture was launched by government of India in the year 2021. right? Now, also the Digital Data Protection Act has been enacted by India in the year 2023 in this regard only. This is in order that the data collection is minimal. Minimum amount of data is connected and more consent-based data sharing with third parties and for data security and privacy, right? Now, these are the pillars of DPI in India. And then what should be, when this DPI is used, DPI, the aim is to provide citizen-centered governance. So what should be the features of DPI? The feature should be that this DPI, these platforms which are being created or these websites, they should be inclusive. That is, they should benefit people from all the geographical locations of India equally, whether they are from urban India, whether they are from rural India, and people from all economic backgrounds equally, right? For example, we have UPI system, right? The best example is UPI system. So UPI system is equally benefiting people from all geographical areas as well as people from all economic backgrounds, as well as this is gender inclusive also, right? It is benefiting both men, women, and transgenders also. Okay. And what is second feature? Second feature is that this DPI, it should be scalable. See, these technologies are prone to change and development. So this system, it should be scalable. That is, first of all, it should be able to take the load of increasing traffic or increasing users. That is, when the users are increased, then uh, the quality should not be compromised. Okay, this is the first thing. And the second thing is that it should be adaptable. That is, with change, these DPIs, these digital platform, they should be adaptable to change, right? And the third thing is that it should be open source. Open source is that the source code of these digital platforms, they should be open for viewing, open to view, open to edit, or open to review by all the parties. And this is in order to promote innovation, right? And these all platforms, they should be interoperable. Now again, let's take the example of UPI. UPI based payment systems, they can be used by various platforms. For example, you could do UPI from say Paytm, say Google Pay, or phone pay, other services. They are interoperable. They can be seamlessly interconnected in various other platforms also. Okay, so these are the features of DPI. Now let's see what are the significance. What is the significance of DPI? Now, for example, Aadhaar. Now, these are the examples of DPI, Digital Public Infrastructure. Aadhaar, which is a unique digital identity, unique biometric identity, unified payment, a real-time payment system. Okay. CoWIN interface, which was launched during COVID-19 pandemic to manage COVID-19 vaccination program. These are certain examples. DigiLocker, it is another example. Now let's see that these are some facts regarding how, these are some numbers regarding how these systems have been integrated in mainstream India, right? And then now let's see that what is the significance of using these DPI. The significance is that they can aid in multiple sectors. For example, if we talk that these systems can aid in moving towards Sustainable Development Goal 1, that is no poverty. Now this we saw in the time of COVID-19 pandemic, that how via Jan-Dhan accounts or via promotion of financial inclusion, digital payments or via direct benefit transfers, how this money or financial aid was transferred to the most marginal sections of society. Okay, this was only possible when we had efficient digital public infrastructure, right? And some examples for it, some solutions to reach this goal is services like Aadhaar card, UPI, as we already discussed. These are inclusive, right? Second thing is good health and well-being to promote Sustainable Development Goal 3. Now, for health, we have National Digital Health Mission, which was launched by Government of India in 2018. Okay, we have e-Sanjeevani portal. So, e-Sanjeevani portal is a telemedicine portal from which the telemedicine facilities could be, the telemedicine facility could be enjoyed for people who are living in remote or rural locations also. Okay, so we have others. We have we have digital health ID. Okay, digital health ID. So these are some examples of how DPI could be used in health sector. And then in education sector, some examples include Diksha portal. Diksha portal of government. Okay, so this is a DPI portal from which uh, e-education sources or e-resources could be downloaded by teachers as well as students. And then we have Swayam portal by government. This can provide online courses. Okay, and then other initiatives, for example, this UPI system or this DBT system, they could be used by Manrega workers for employment, right? And we have other examples, for example, government e-marketplace. So this is a kind of portal where uh, the all the procurements for PSUs or government departments, they can procure their goods and services from government e-marketplace or GM portal, and this is in order to bring transparency in procurement by the government PSUs. And then also this is going to empower the SMEs, small and medium enterprises, right? So these are some example of how impactful this DPI is for India. Okay, now having said this, now this news article says that, now see, this is what we studied, it was all part of India stack, right? Now the author says that we have to move from India stack to citizen stack. That is the DPI which we are developing now. More and more DPI are being developed, but these DPI should be good DPI. That is, it should aid the goal of harmonizing technology with societal needs, ensuring security, scalability, and inclusivity. Right? We have discussed these all. Now, what is citizen stack? Citizen stack is a proposed framework. Presently, this is being proposed that there should be a framework or there should be a regulatory model which can certify DPI, it can authenticate DPI, and it can audit DPI. That is, these DPI which are being developed for their certification, that is, do they have quality standards? Are they meeting the goal of these all goals which we discussed earlier? Are they meeting the goal of scalability, open source, are they interoperable, and these other goals? Are they meeting it? So, for checking their quality to certify them, right? Sorry. Okay. Now, this citizen stack, it is a proposed regulatory framework which will check the quality of these DPI, which will certify them, and which will authenticate these DPI in order that these DPI are good DPI, right? And what should be the guiding framework for it? The guiding framework is that in order to build a good DPI, it should uphold citizens' relationship with the market and state. That is, it should be free from state intervention, right? That is, there should be no excessive surveillance from state, right? And there should be no market distortions as such, right? And it should safeguard citizen empowerment and privacy. It should prevent lock-in by competing monopolies. That is, as we already discussed, that these DPI, they should be interoperable, right? They should be scalable, and in order that there is no monopoly by any particular private company, right? And in order to bring in competition and avoid any kind of monopolistic tendencies. And then there should be techno legal regulations for ethical use of DPIs, and plus there should be enough public plus private partnership, and this is to foster innovation, right? So this is all about this article. Now let's move on. Okay, now see in the page number 6 of the Hindu. Now this was an important article today which was mentioned, policy paralysis, a weakened public health sector. Now this article talks about the fragile state of the public health sector of India. That is, there are certain challenges in the public health sector in India, and particularly it talks about that how the budgetary allocations are not optimum. Now, presently, India spends about 1.3% of its GDP in the healthcare sector, and it has been devised by various commissions that our spending should be around 2% of India's GDP in the healthcare sector. So, this article presents some, facts, or it throws some light regarding a weakened public health sector in India. Now, if now regarding this particular theme, various videos are present in our YouTube channel. You can search them, and if you want to see this video, this is a video dated 26 May 2024, where I've covered various issues in the healthcare system of India. Okay, so you can refer to this video. And another important article, it appeared on the page number 6 of Hindu only. This is regarding the manufacturing sector of India. So the vision of government of India is to enhance manufacturing sector in India. Okay, so two important schemes for that purpose are Make in India scheme and the PLI scheme, production linked incentive schemes, right? Now this article throws some lights regarding that still our manufacturing companies, they are dependent on Chinese companies for basic parts, okay, in manufacturing sector. So if you want to see, so related to this article only, if you want to see that what are the challenges with the implementation of PLI scheme, this was covered recently on our budget 2024 special session in 6 September 2024. So you can see this, you can see these particular challenges with the implementation of PLI scheme. Okay. Now coming to our prelims discussion section. Now first article for today's discussion is inspired by this news article which appeared on the page number 14 of the Hindu. Now this news article, it talks about a research which was regarding some facts regarding how long COVID complications they arise. We all know that COVID-19 pandemic, COVID-19 is a highly infectious disease which is spread due to coronavirus or SARS-CoV-2 virus, right? So this is a RNA virus. And when people they recovered from COVID-19, some of them they suffered from long COVID. That is, they had COVID-like symptoms. So there is a news article that there was a research regarding it, and the research say that there is a particular antibody which is in the phase 1 of clinical trials, and this particular antibody, this could prove beneficial to cure the cases related to long COVID. Okay. Now this research was not that important for us, but in this particular article, we will talk about this particular antibody, right? And we will talk about monoclonal antibodies, right? So let's begin our discussion. Now see, first of all, what are antibodies? Antibodies is any protein which is produced by our immune system in order to fight any antigen. See, antigen can be any pathogen. It could be any virus, bacteria, fungi, any foreign material which has entered our human body, okay, through any route, say respiratory route or via any other route. So our antibodies, which are proteins, antibodies are proteins, and these proteins are produced by the immune system, particularly the B cells. B cells are a type of white blood cells in humans, and these B cells, they produce antibodies, right? And these antibodies, they are responsible for neutralizing these antigens, right? And what are monoclonal antibodies? Antibodies are naturally produced in our body, but monoclonal antibodies, they are artificial antibodies. That is, monoclonal antibodies are designed artificially in order to target any particular disease. Now let's see this in context of COVID-19 pandemic. Now see, this is a human cell, and this COVID-19, this SARS-CoV virus or this coronavirus, it had a particular kind of protein known as spike protein. If you see this is the structure of coronavirus. So it has the presence of this particular kind of protein in its surface. This is known as S protein. Now this S protein, it attaches to the human cell, and these are the receptors in human cell, ACE2 receptors. So via this S protein, this coronavirus, it attaches to the human cells, right? And which enables its replication when it is attached. But what is the work of antibodies? See, in this image, we can see these are monoclonal antibodies. So antibodies, either they could be created naturally in the body by the B cells, okay, or either they could be created artificially in the laboratory. And when these antibodies are created artificially, they are known as monoclonal antibodies, right? So what is the work of monoclonal antibodies or antibodies in such? they act as a barrier between the virus and human cells, and they prevent these virus to attach with the human cells. Now here in this image, if you see this green colored, this is this particular antibody. It attaches to the protein of this particular virus, and this prohibits it from attaching to the human cell, right? And when and finally this can act as a flag. That is, when this antibody is attached to this particular virus, then this particular virus can be identified by our immune system, particularly by T cells. So these T cells, they will come and they will neutralize this particular virus. Okay, so this is the role of antibodies here. Okay, now based on this information, let us solve a practice question. Now UPSC in the year 2022, it asked a question regarding B cells and T cells. So B cells and T cells, they are a part of human immune system, right? And so this was a question regarding it. Now let's solve this particular question, which says that consider the following statements. Antigens are proteins produced by the immune system. This is an incorrect statement. Why this is incorrect? Because antibodies, they are the proteins which are produced by immune system. Whereas what are antigens? Antigens are the foreign materials, for example virus, fungi, bacteria, which enter our immune system. Okay, so this statement is incorrect. Second statement is antigens neutralize any foreign substance entering the human body. This is also incorrect. Why? Because antibodies, they neutralize any foreign substance which enter the human body, right? Third statement says monoclonal antibodies, they mimic the behavior of antibodies produced by the immune system. This is a correct statement, as monoclonal antibodies, they can be created in labs and they can mimic the behavior of antibodies produced by the immune system. So how many statements are correct? Only one statement is correct, right? Now let's move on to the final article for the day, which is inspired by this news article which appeared on the page number 12 of Indian Express. Now the context of this news article is that a Mumbai-based pharmaceutical company has announced that an eye drop created by this particular company has got an approval from Drug Controller General of India. So this particular eye drop will be used to give relief to the patients who are suffering from presbyopia. Now let's see a few facts regarding presbyopia. Now first of all, in this image you can see this is the anatomy of human eye. So we can see some important parts of human eye. What are these important part? First important thing, you can see this is iris. What is iris? Iris is the colored portion of human eye. And what is the role of